So thank you. Please share on Facebook. Please share everywhere if you cares. Alrighty, so the room is filling up. Here we go. Here we go. Welcome everybody. Come on in. Come on in. Lovely to see you all. Welcome, welcome. You could have been anywhere in the world today, but you chose to be here. Oh, that's great stuff. Thank you all so much for coming. I'm really excited to introduce this amazing, talented young man. He's actually really incredible, really gifted, and it's just such a positive thing to see someone get their stories of expression. And particularly our young men can find it sometimes hard to what's the word I'm looking for? Positively express themselves in UK society, right? But we've got here some real strong talent, and you could have been anywhere in the world tonight, but you are here. So it is an absolute pleasure. Thank you all for coming. My name is Winsome Duncan. I am a book confidence coach, and hopefully you all can hear me. So if you can just give me a quick wave. Yeah, you can hear me? Okay. This event is being recorded. Juliet, I hope you don't mind. I'm going to make you a co-host because I hope I'm not malfunctioning. Around here, we had some technicals. I'm really, really sorry to have kept you for 4 minutes, but sometimes I think when something really good is going to happen, you just kind of got to just accept it. I don't know why I'm in the waiting room, but that actually isn't me, which is really odd. So fingers crossed that there is no trolls this evening. So do not let Winsome in the waiting room in, Juliet, once I make you co-host. Alrighty, so hopefully everyone can see. Let me just unblur my background because I've got to get you to have a look at this book. Um, right, right. Yep, yep, yep. Can you see it? I feel like this is a golden nugget when I hold it in my hands. Detective Shabazz, marked man of the shadows. Good evening, Kamal. How are you doing? Are you doing all right?
I'm doing very well, thank you. And I hope everyone is too.
Okay, is it me? I can't hear you. Do you need to unmute your mic? Let me see. Turn up the volume.
Can everyone hear me?
Yes.
Okay, good. Yeah. Yeah, I'm doing very well. And thank you, everybody, for coming out. I really appreciate you all sincerely.
Excellent. Alrighty, so let's get started. I think what we want to think about is really helping this young talented man to become a Amazon top bestseller, and that it means many things really, but in particular, putting your hands in your pocket and jingle jangling and supporting him, whether it's a paperback book, whether it's the Kindle version, is really getting him on his journey and on his way. Because when your book is like newly released, it goes into the algorithms of Amazon, and it does that for the first 30 days. So, as you know, we have had we in this instance we have had like a pre-launch, and now we are going into the season of him actually launching the book. Right, so I can see Juliet Coley is in the room. Do you need me to let you in again, Juliet? Is that your mobile or is that not you? She's still here? All right, because I know she said she had technical issues, so I'll let her in. Okay. Alrighty. So, hailing from the darkest shadows of the streets emerges the mayor of Swing City, incredible, mysterious private eye detective Shabazz. This is a fiction and this is a work of art, and we've actually been working on this for a little while. So I'll just introduce you myself, and then we're going to just get this party started. My name is Winsome Duncan. I'm BBC One Extra Future Figures for my services in publishing. I got awarded, which is kind of cool. I publish books with mainly global majority, mainly females, and I help them to tell their stories, write their books. And I met Kamal more than 3 years ago in Brixton, and we were at an event, and he was in the process of writing his book, and it was just really exciting to hear what this young man was doing and the changes that he wanted to make within the text that you're going to see here. He really is a perfectionist author, very passionate about the work that he is doing, and it's just really exciting. So I'm just going to tell you a little bit about how, if you are or interested in, writing a book and publishing your story, just a little bit of the way in which you can do that. I think the first thing that you've got to think about is, what is your why? Why do you want to write a book? What is it that you want to say? And when you have a strong why, say 8 out of 10, 9 out of 10, then you can ultimately finish. Because I think writing a book is about completing and finishing to the end. And a lot of the time, people can have writer's block, or they can get stuck and find it quite difficult and quite challenging. So, oh, Juliet was kicked out. Sorry to hear that. Hopefully she is back in the building. Maybe have a backup on your mobile there, Juliet. Sorry you got out, but hopefully you can stay back in. So, the second thing that I want to say is, if you want to write a book, if you're inspired by Kamal's stories tonight, this evening, the theme of the book is very important. A lot of people come with biographies, memoirs. This young man has come with a fiction book, which is incredible because that in itself is, you've got to have an imagination in order to have a fiction book. You really have to be on point, and there's a lot of things that you have to think about in terms of character, voice, dialogue, senses, touch, sounds. It's a whole thing, and he's put his soul on the page, really. And let's advocate and get him to go ahead and get it into some sort of animation, some sort of live on film. If you think that it should be turned into an adaptation, put your ones in the chat. Let me see. Put your ones in the chat, because I think if someone spends so long on something, yep, put your ones in, put your ones in. I think that it should qualify for it to have more content that's diverse. We're passionate about diverse, eclectic stories. I think the artwork is absolutely incredible. And we got the artist here tonight, which is really kind of cool. So do support and advocate. I am turning one of my books here into, it's called The Popcorn House. It's my #1 bestseller, into an animation, and it's been an incredible journey. So don't think about your book as just being one thing, a paperback. No, it can be many other formats. The third and final thing that I would say in terms of you writing your story, telling your book, that kind of thing, telling your story, writing your book, is your tables of content. And it's so important with the authors that I work with. It's really, they have to have a plan of action. And if you don't have a plan of action, you're going to fail, right? You have to be able to think about, what is the next steps after I write this book? How am I going to publish it? How am I going to market it? How am I going to get it out there into the world? There's so many nuts and bolts on this. So one of the things that Kamal and I worked on was this here, the Just Write It workbook. And we went through the tables of content here. And in this is a little bit tattered and worn. But it's 80 pages of goodness to get you started on your book writing journey. We had things like dedication. We had things like introductions, preface. You get the skeleton down first, very, very important, and then you can move on to adding the meat onto the bones. Because once, I think, if you have a structure of your book, you see in here he's got his tables of content. That is the skeleton. Once you have the skeleton, then you can move on. See right there? That's his, I don't know if it's a bit bright. Hold on, let's see. There we go. Um, that is his skeleton, and then you build around that. So I hope you have found that useful. I am available to coach you lovely people if you are inspired, and I'll pop some links later on in the chat. So without further ado, we are going to continue on this journey. We've got some amazing guests lined up, and this lady is actually who got the party started. Yes, Peaches Publications published the book, but this powerhouse individual, like I'm just tinkling that she's on here. Make sure you follow her on her social medias and all that jazz. She's just got a big heart. She is incredible. Lucky to call her a friend. Uh, um, but aside from that, knowing her just lightens up and illuminates my world. Her heart, her authenticity, and I hope that you're going to gain so much from the insights that she's going to share. But this was the inspiration, the nucleus, the seed that started this whole journey. So, ladies and gentlemen, it is my utmost honor to introduce our first guest speaker, which is the lovely Juliet Coley of Blackjack Media. Welcome, welcome. Let's give her some hearts. Let's get her in. Where you at, girl? Where you at?
I am
Hi.
here. I am here. Thank you so much. What a introduction. Boom, 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 boom. I'm really, really happy to finally experience this day. So congratulations, Kamal, and to Peaches Publications on what is an amazing product. Hey, I had to run and go and get mine. So what makes this so special? Me, how times have changed. My name's Juliet Bremer. I am Europe's first and largest publisher of Black books written by Black children and the co-founder of the Children's Black Book Fair. I'm also a child of Windrush. So books were so important in our household. And if you're part of that generation, I'm sure you can remember when your parents saying, go read a book, pick up a book, weigh a book. Books were massive back in the day. Every Friday, right, there was a white man who used to come to my door, knock the door, and my mum used to give him £10. Now, £10 is a lot of money those days. And I was thinking, what the is she giving him £10 for? I soon found out that it was for the old school Google, the Encyclopedia Britannica, which cost my mum over £1,000 back in the day. And I'm sure a lot of Caribbean households had that because they believed in books, they believed in education. And books, were a treasure. The only book in my house that was allowed to be worn out was the Bible, because that meant that you actually was reading it. Now, in my teens, I wanted to be a writer. And I remember submitting loads and loads of scripts to major publishing companies and getting back rejection after rejection, saying that my writing was lovely, but it wasn't what they were looking for at the moment. Thank God today we can do for self. Now, my story of how I came into publishing is a long one. I'm not going to spend a lot of time talking about that now, but it took me having to have a heart attack, in order for me to start up my company, because my son, who was 5 at the time, was traumatized. And the only way that we could make him heal was to send him to play therapy. He'd write down his thoughts and feelings. And my daughter said to me, Mum, have you seen what he's written? Let's put it in a book. And that's actually how I decided to do some research and publish a book myself. And that was 15 years ago. And 15 years on, I've published 25 books written by Black children, and I've done 6 of my own. Not because I thought that, I'm a great writer and I can do it. It took pain to turn my journey into purpose. And it just goes to show that it doesn't matter who you are. What I've recognized and what I've realized is that everybody's got a story. And in this day and age, you can make your story happen. There's organizations like Winsome who have created books and created moments that allow you now to be able to tell your story. And that is brilliant. I mean, I was an English teacher. I was also a senior deputy head of a secondary school, and I was in education for over 20 years. And on the GCSE curriculum, program of study, there is not one Black author. There's Black poets, but not one Black author. In the 20 years that I've taught, pre that and post that, the government have not suggested that you study one Black author, which in this day and age is a disgrace. So today I am excited that Kamal has come to the end of part one of his journey. And I'm proud to see that he's smashing those negative stereotypes. I met Kamal, I think it was in 2022 at the British Black Book Fair. And that was when it was in Birmingham. And he'd just sort of written his story and he was trying to find out how he can get it into a book. And that takes dedication. So that journey, him along with Winsome, completing that to this, I think is pretty amazing. And I think a massive congratulations to you, Kamal, and to you, Winsome, for actually getting this actually to this point. Winsome did mention it, and I just want to kind of elaborate on what she mentioned, because one of the reasons why I know that Kamal will be successful with his message was what I got from a talk. It was a guy called Eric Collins. He's a businessman as well as an author. And he said that basically sometimes having a book isn't enough. You've got to make sure that you have some kind of IP around your book. One of the biggest media moneymakers is gaming. So could your book transform into that? Winsome mentioned that earlier. Could it be a movie? Could you create merchandise around it? And for Kamal, the answer is yes, yes, yes. Detective Shabazz has the potential to be the next Harry Potter. And just think, me and Kamal, we're brethrens. So don't forget me when you're rich and famous. God bless you.
Give her some hearts. Let's give her some hearts. Isn't she amazing? You know, I wanted you to speak some more. You had time. I'm sure you had another 4 minutes. But it's all good. It's all good. It's all right. I like people sticking to time. It's fine. But what I will say while you are here is that the seeds that you're sowing in Kamal is truly amazing. And long after your legacy, my legacy has gone, because you know we're like fine wines, aren't we?
Yeah.
As long as it has, you know, the time has gone, when we leave this planet, you know, people like Kamal and people who will come after him will be inspired. Now, you mentioned a very interesting character called Eric Collins. So for people who don't know who that is, I'll just explain. Eric Collins he's an American gentleman, and please, you know, go and look him up. He has invested over $1 billion in the tech industry and has a specific interest in women in Black tech. How do I know this? Well, I've had meetings. I was invited to his AGM this year with him and his millionaire friends. And what's really exciting, and Kamal, I don't think you know this, he has recently opened Impact X Studios, which has 10 million for films and animations over the next 5 years. So you definitely would want to get in touch with somebody of that caliber, like Mr. Eric Collins. He currently has something out called Ianu, which is an animation 2D, and Juliet, it's been on ITV. They're turning it into a feature film. It's been on Cartoon Networks.
British Black Book Fair with
he spoke there, didn't he?
Yeah.
Mm-hmm. So
I want to add, because I had 4 minutes left, sorry, Winsome. You know, for me, you know, the narrative around Black boys is so negative still. You know, so to see someone like Kamal, and for you working with someone like Kamal and them coming up with a book, because remember the saying about if you want to hide something from a Black person, what do? Put it in a book. It's foolishness. So the fact that Kamal, as a young Black man, is coming out with a great product, you know, we all have to spread the word, get behind him, do what we can do, champion him, because he is someone that will inspire, you know, a generation. So I think that's 8 minutes now, yeah?
And that he does, and he does it very well. Okay, welcome, ladies and gentlemen. If you've just been let into the room, this is the book launch of Detective Shabazz, Marked Man of the Shadows. Shall I say it in a more marked man of the shadows? I'm an actress. Right, yeah, I'm playing with y'all. So yeah, so we are here. He's talented. He's all cool like a cucumber. I can't wait for you to speak to him if you've never ever met him before. Some of your label mates are on here. So big up Dr. Marcel. I see you in the building. Yeah, so it's really incredible. But what I found, enchanting was just the graphics. It's stunning. And when book cover, you see, I'm getting emotional. Book covers, right? Let me just explain to you. People buy visually and they buy with their eyes, and we've got this talented illustrator coming up for you shortly, who's going to share all of his nuggets, or at least 90%. And I couldn't say anything else to perfect it. I really, really, really couldn't. So let's hear for the man of the hour who is in the building. I'm going to go ahead and put those links in the chat. I promise you. It's his hour. And just let's give him his heart. Ladies and gentlemen, it is my absolute privilege to bring to you the talented, the cool cucumber, author extraordinaire, Mr. Kamal Lewis.
Thank you, everyone. I'm really feeling the love. I'm on cloud 9 right now. So thank you so much, everyone, for coming through. Thank you so much, honestly. Really feeling the love today. So yeah, greetings, everyone. Of course, Kamal Lewis. I'm the author of Detective Shabazz, Mark Mine of the Shadows. It was just the whole concept of this book, or really what motivated me to actually write this book, was actually built around me having a strong love for action adventure, but also being very passionate about our image, not just in media, but in literature and in all different types of media. I was always upset as a child that the Black characters were either secondary or they were the villains, and there was never really a depiction of Black characters to be strong, intelligent, and respectable people in society. He was always either the joker, the man who's a bit dim-witted, or the clown, if he was a bit more closer to the main character, he or she. So I really wanted to use the talent that I believe I have to actually do something to change that. And if anything in life, if there's anything I've learned in life, is that we can really take charge of our own narrative and our own image, and it's our responsibility. And for the longest time, we've been relying on other people to promote us in a way and giving them all the power and not taking it for ourselves. So I said, you know what? I'm going to do my best to try and do something about that. And with my own creative forces, I'm going to do something to help contribute, or at least start the fire, ignite the fire of this. So then anybody who really knows me knows that my parents raised me a lot to love my Black heroes, all the great men and women that fought for us to really stand in a place where we're standing today, how we're standing on their shoulders. And one person who did inspire me in terms of how he really articulated, so quickly and so sharply. I was really interested in the story of Malcolm X, and just the way he was able to just say stuff very quickly, and he was very intelligent, he was very sharp. And I knew that was a name which a lot of people in our community knew about. So it was mainly Martin Luther King and Malcolm X, and secondary you got the Marcus Garveys and everybody else. So it was a thing that I wanted to incorporate in something involved with action and adventure. And from that, I was able to come up with the name Shabazz. And anybody who's really familiar with the name Shabazz, Malcolm X actually carried one of those names. And the name actually it has multiple meanings, but one of the two main meanings was to be unconquerable but there's also a cloud of rebellion around his name as well. So Detective Shabazz delves within, it revolves around this strong, intelligent man who's a private detective who lives a very shady life, who learns he's been marked for death since birth for the inheritance of his family's wealth by the government and elite secret societies, and is also plagued by some of the dark legacy that has been carried down to him from his family. So he's a person who has enemies on all fronts. And you can see that with a lot of our leaders who lived in the past and in the present, that they will have opposition by governments, and they'll even have opposition by their own in just trying to do right. But how often do you also hear about a detective being at the center of all the crimes around him? So that is what I wanted to add some extra spice to it, you know, a man who's really looking to solve the problem in society, not realizing that he's actually targeted, like he is a problem to society, and he's really just trying to do some good. So it deals with a lot of self-discovery, identity that we can all relate to, a lot of similar family issues that we may have, you know, often being born and dragged into certain situations and circumstances that we don't really ask for, you know. You know, my character is very much human, so it delves in a lot to the emotion which we don't really get to see and hear from with a lot of our revolutionary heroes. We often see them as strong and courageous, and yeah, we're going to stand up and fight and march and do this, that, and the third. But what about when he or she goes home? How do they feel within themselves? How do they feel when they're on TV being blasted and slandered? How do they feel when they're made to be public enemy number one, when they're just trying to be on the right side of things, you know? So Detective Shabazz almost became a good fusion between the action and adventure from fighting crime also to something quite revolutionary. And of course, I put in a few laughs and jokes in there, but I tried to incorporate that into something which will be a bit more palatable for people to be able to take in, because we all love a good drama story. That's one thing that we can know about society in 2025. We love to hear about the drama or the latest, biggest thing happening. So I've really gone out all gun blazing with the drama, a lot of cliffhangers, and I've incorporated a lot of different sides of the story with a lot of the different characters that bring a different energy to the story, that create a bit more balance. So I'm not going to spoil too much for you, but you know, we have main characters like Detective Shabazz, who feels like he's cursed by his family. The female character called Salima Rose, if you can see her, she's the one who's actually in the pink, who actually doesn't have a family. And then you also have the other character in the white hat called James the Talent, who is just trying to feed his family in an area that is full of poverty. And you have the main villain called Deuces Goliath, who is trying to take everyone's money. So everybody is fighting all for one thing and all get caught up into this one big ball of chaos. So it's all about who will come out on top. And I know you're all expecting the main character to come out on top all the time, but I'm just letting you know you're in for a surprise. And I'm not saying you won't. I'm just not saying you will either. I'm saying this is a book series, and it's something definitely that is gripping. It's a must read, and it's something that you really want to see the whole story and the whole series through. So that's what I'll say briefly about my book. And I'd just like to thank, I met Winsome Duncan before I actually met Juliet. And, you know, she really did give me the confidence to get it out there, because as a writer, well, I don't know about a lot of other writers, but we treat a book and a script like a child. We want to hold it, we want to nurse it, and we don't want to give it away. And Winsome's of the mind of, come on, just get it out. And, you know, you have to be pushed to do these things. You need the motivation, otherwise you never will. 2026 will come, and I'll be still telling everybody, yeah, soon come, but it has to come out. You know what I mean? And then Juliet, who's, you know, also a very strong, a magnificent woman in this same field too, was also another kick in the rear end, who would often call me and start off the calls by saying, "Where is your book?" So you need to be frightened. If you're in my position, you need to be frightened if you're not doing what you're supposed to be doing. So I just want to say that as inspiration to everybody, no matter what they're doing, always surround yourself with people who will motivate you and push you, because we all have a unique gift and talent that we have to offer the world. I believe I found mine, and I want everybody to have theirs. And then obviously the magnificent Calvin Rowan, who you're going to hear from shortly, who does amazing artwork. And I can't even explain it. I designed the characters, but when I asked him to embellish it, oh my God. Oh my God. And then everybody else who supported me, and my eldest sister, Marissa, who has just got an eye for quality that is just so unique and sharp that, you know, she could just see something and be like, come on, change that. And sometimes I'm like, really? But then when I do it, I'm like, oh, okay. You know, very sharp. You need a set of people around you, a team. So that's what I would just like to start off by saying, you know, thank you for coming out, and you're going to hear more from others. But yeah, this is definitely the book to get.
Wow, you're right. I was just about to say 5 minutes left, Kamal. But yeah, let's give him some hearts. Let's give him some flowers. Yeah, this is your time. So enjoy it. You have deserved it. Isn't he cool? He's just so relaxed. He's not starstruck or anything. He's just like, yeah, this is my book. What you didn't touch on, and what I'd like to hear a little bit more of, you got another 5 minutes left. So, well, 4 to be precise. Tell us about the writing process of, you know, rewrites, edits, that perfectionist person in you.
Yeah. Winsome had to tell me that I was a perfectionist. I didn't believe it when I saw it on the email, but then I thought about it, I was like, you know, I actually am. Because a lot of people who I was inspired by were perfectionists. And they weren't just writers. Sometimes they were like our musicians that we listen to, some of our famous actors and our intellects. You know, they would like to perfect things. So I think my main thing was I really just wanted to make sure that whatever I'm putting out into the public, that I show them that I love and respect them enough to just give them something of quality. I really wanted to just have it quality, just put out good quality work out there, especially for my first one, because as I felt, it was like my child holding it. I wanted it to come into the hands and be safe in your hands, and something that you learned, you love and appreciate. But writing the book, I had to rewrite it so many different chapters, so many different times, because you're keeping an eye out for what people like and the attention span. You know, I had to take myself as a writer. Sometimes you have to take yourself out of your position as a writer and read it in a space where you don't know who this person is. You've never seen this piece of writing before. Is your first chapter enough to carry you through to see from the front page to the end? So I had to be very self-critical on myself, and sometimes being a little bit, not too hard, but being hard on yourself in the sense of you push yourself. And I couldn't say I faced writer's block, but a lot of what I was going through in my life, you know, a lot of the grief and all the things that I've gone through within the last 3 years since I actually started working with Winsome properly, since that day, since then, it's been a lot of people that are no longer with me right now. I use that as a fuel to keep going, you know, because I'm thinking they would have been here today in this chat right now with me, and they would have loved to support. So, and I know that Michael Jackson had a conversation with a man called Minister Farrakhan, and he was going through a lot of pain in his best years. And Minister Farrakhan said, through our pain and our suffering as a people comes out our creative genius. So use that and put it out into the world, because most likely our pain that we carry, we can live to tell the story to help other people that are coming behind us. So I used a lot of that in my writing, and it wasn't easy. It was very hard, But I think me having that strictness on myself allowed me to bring out the best, you know? So just do my best to have a sharp eye for detail and trying to put out the best for you lot and putting you lot first as the audience and customers. You know, I've come out with something that I'm pretty proud of at the moment. So I'd say, yeah, it wasn't an easy journey. I didn't expect it to be, but here we are. You have to be very patient with yourself and patient with the process. And you can't rush creativity, but you have to set yourself some deadlines and you have to be strict with yourself, you know? Otherwise, it will never come out. Hope that answers your question.
Here, 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 here. Thank you, Brother Kamal. Very, very inspiring. His link is in the chat. I'm going to read you some of the chat. Michelle says, well done, Kamal. I'll be purchasing 2 books tonight. That's right. 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10. Purchase. You know, we've got Kwanzaa coming up. We've got amazing birthdays and all of that good stuff. So don't just purchase 1, purchase 2, purchase a bundle. And you can also get signed copies. The VIP signed copies will be shipped out to you shortly after this event. Alison says, well done, Kamal. Jason says, well done, my bro. The man name, innit, my bro? Yeah. Dawn, well done, my brilliant nephew. Oh, Auntie's in the building. Big up, Auntie Dawn. Hey, girl. Hey. Dee, so proud of you. Just need my copy signed. Well, you've got demands on you now, young king. Better hurry up with them. Go to the post office tomorrow, first class, special delivery. Laverno says, son, I'm proud of you. Love you so much. But we know that's not Laverno. That's Mumsy. Mumsy's in the building. And I actually met your mum at Juliet's event in Hackney, which was kind of incredible. And maybe Mumsy might be not too shy and maybe say a couple words later. Let's see. Message me if you want to do that, Mumsy. But yeah, proud of you, son, for real, for real. All right, I'll just read a few more LS. Proud of you, Kamal. Can't wait to get my copy. Sounds fab. Yes, let's get him into the top 10. That's his wish. That's his dream. That's his desire. Buy it on Kindle. Buy it on paperback. Easier to get to number 1 in Kindle. Spread the word, please, please, please. Great job. I mean, the list goes on and on and on and on. I'll save you the chat and I'll send it to you, Kamal. So congratulations. You said something really important about the fallen soldiers. So we'll just take a few moments of silence just to remember those that we have loved and lost, not just this year, but over the last 3 years of this process for you.
Thank you.
Okay, thank you. Right. Just relax. He's coming back. He's going to read to us later, so you can chill, turn your mic off. Kamal, relax yourself. Thank you very much. We are going to continue with tonight's running order. Ladies and gentlemen, if you do not know, we are at Kamal's book launch for Hello, Detective Shabazz, and it's very thick. Look at that. It's very thick. This is the paperback version, and he's got the online version as well. And you need to get your copy. Writing is a labor of love. It takes years, months, weeks, just depending on where you're at in the world with your writing. And if you can feel inspired to do this because he's done it, then why not? Let's talk. Let's have a conversation. Now, I'm going to get to this young man who I can't wait to hear what he has to say, really. I would definitely like to know how long you've been an artist for. It looks like you just draw in your sleep. I think I might have to hire you, but I don't know if I can afford you. Might be out of my price range, Kamal. Ladies and gentlemen, it's an absolute honor to welcome this another young king up in the building, all glowing and everything. He's the illustrator. If you love these characters, remember there's going to be merchandise, cups, bookmarks, mugs, all of that. So you get in touch with Kamal. But this is the visionary who created and brought his ideas to life. Ladies and gentlemen, please give it up for a man like Calvin Ruan. Come on in. Can you unmute? Let's see. Ask him to unmute. Try now. Hey,
Yeah.
hey.
Can you hear me?
Loud and clear.
Oh, lovely, lovely, lovely. Hi, everyone. I'm Calvin Ruin. Um, Usually I'm a man of few words, but today I got a lot to say, I guess. But if I do finish prematurely, feel free to ask me any questions at any time. Um, so where do I even begin? I have been an illustrator, freelance illustrator, artist, and graphic designer for as long as I can remember. I studied at UAL, University of the Arts London in Elephant and Castle, and I graduated back in 2019. And I think that was the same year I met Kamal, funny enough, because I had posted a tribute for the late Nipsey Hussle on my Instagram. And I remember getting a message from my cousin Akil, who let me know that he has a friend that wanted to work with me. And I remember me and Kamal instantly started speaking and got along straight away. And it was an amazing first interaction, to say the least, because he had all these ideas and we had a lot in common as well. Like bringing the black characters to the forefront, because one of my passions actually as an artist as well is eventually one day, hopefully, it will happen. It will happen. I will make a graphic novel as well, circled around like Black history as well. So that is something that I'm aspiring to do. But yeah, I remember when Kamal initially told me the plan and the project that he wanted me to work with him on, and I loved it instantly. Fell in love with it. I was like, you know what? Yeah, this sounds amazing. Let me be involved. And then he sent me over the first illustrations that he had drawn, and I was like, okay, okay, we got something to work with. But let's go into depth and let's go into detail. What do you want? What is the style that you're looking for? Because my style, I would say, is more animated, and I kind of mix in hyperrealism with manga style of art, and that's kind of where I'm leading my art style too. But he loved it, and yeah, we've just worked well together like ever since. We had a lot of back and forth. There would be moments when Kamal sent me like some illustrations, then I'd go away, come back to him with the designs. He'd have some critiques, and then we'd go again and back and forth for like the last, I would say, 4 or 5 years, honestly. And then even some of the illustrations that I ended up doing for Kamal didn't even make the final cut because we just had so many to work with and not enough space in the book. And we was like, okay, well, we can save some of these for part two and whatnot. But I just want to say I'm so proud of Kamal and how far he's come, and to see all of this coming to fruition finally. Honestly, brother, I'm proud of you, and it's an amazing feeling, not only for myself, but like you should feel over the moon because yeah. Actually, you know what? I will bring up this time. So in October, um, I had been commissioned to sell some prints actually at a Black History Month fair in my local community of Slough. And I was like, okay, I know Kamal's bringing out his book and he had a few copies already made. So I was like, you know what? Let me invite my brother down and he can join my stall with me and sell some of his books before his launch, see how he's going to perform and whatnot. He brought down maybe like 20, 30 books, maybe even more. You can clarify the amount, but ended up selling out. And I was like, amazing. You know what I mean? We were so happy. We couldn't stop grinning the whole evening. Like it was so like the love that you was getting showed me how amazing that this book is going to do, bro. I was like, honestly. So you should be so proud of yourself. And it's been an honor working with you. Yeah.
Woo, woo. Wow, loving it, loving it, loving it. Thank you so much, Calvin.
That's all right. It's
You're
all good.
so talented. So what I did forget, forgive me, is to say to Julia and yourself, please put your details in the chat. Let's all network. Let's all follow each other. Are you on the gram?
I am indeed. I am indeed.
Wonderful, wonderful. Before you go, I have to answer the great Calvin some questions. I'm sorry. Going
So,
off script, Kamal. Forgive me, perfectionist. I'm sorry. Right,
Okay,
listen.
I don't blame you.
So like your craft is amazing. Where do you see yourself in the next 10 years with your giftings?
I have a few ideas that I want to start to execute. I want to do clothing with some of my designs, but also, like I said, I wanted to do the graphic novel eventually. That's like a personal project of mine that I really want to undergo, and I know it's going to take a lot of time, but sometimes it's going to be worth it, man. So the best things in life, they take time. So yeah, that's
Yeah,
definitely something.
definitely get some advice, definitely get a mentor. And if that's where you're going, go and push it so far. I want you to just reach, not even reach, I want you to go beyond the stars, the moons, the galaxies, the universe. And thank you for being here and being a part. And I've just had an idea because I'm an ideas maker, right?
Go ahead.
You and Kamal should pair up all the time and go to the events. You're going to save money, which is great, but you've just got this lovely, warm synergy together. And I think together it's always more impactful. Definitely, definitely, definitely. It
Really.
has been an honor and an absolute privilege to have you here, young king. I salute you.
I appreciate it. I salute you too.
Put your details in the chat.
I
Put your
will do. I will
details in the
do.
chat. That's where it's at.
Thank you. Thank
And you
you.
too, Juliet. You too. Okay, let's move on. There's so much more to give. We're halfway through. So someone put in the chat, they said, are they getting a copy of the book? Not if you don't buy it. You need to buy it. If you're a VIP, we've sent you out emails. Your book will be on the way at your chosen address and destination. If you have not got a copy today and you've just signed up as a guest, the links are in the chat. I'll keep putting them in, putting them in, putting them in. And if you are inspired to get on this book writing journey, let's connect. I've put my details in the chat as well. So without further ado, it is now a family affair. I'm thinking, Kamal, did I meet Marissa Hackney as well? Or was it
No,
just your
you
mum?
didn't. I got two sisters. That was my sister Nadine, and big shout out to her. But this is my eldest
Okay.
sister.
Okay, all right. So I was just checking because I thought I'm sure I met your sister. Ladies and gentlemen, it's a family affair now. We have got the talented sister and event producer. So we all know when we're doing the tours of your book signings and your in-person book launches, when we're doing that, please give it up for Marissa Foster. Hopefully I pronounced that.
Forrester.
Forrester, nearly, nearly. Thank you for correcting me. Come on
No
in.
worries. Can you hear me? Good, good. Thank you so much for having me, everyone. What a night it's been so far. An absolute honor to be here celebrating my brother Kamal and the book launch of Detective Shabazz. I'm not even in the hot seat and I'm just like, wow, this is a lot. Because I can't imagine how Kamal is feeling right now. I think what I admire most about this moment is coming from a fellow creative is that Kamal had an idea. He had a story to tell and he had the follow through. Winsome mentioned this earlier on at the top of the event. The follow through is what matters. And it takes so much courage as a creative to bring that idea, to bring those seeds of your imagination to fruition and bring it to life. And Kamal has done that. Despite any challenges he may have had, shaping the story, rewriting the story multiple times, as he said, because he's a perfectionist. But he overcame those challenges, and here we are today. And it's just so exciting to be a part of this moment. And I would say, I'm sure it's safe for me to say, as well as everybody else in this room and people who couldn't make it, we're all so proud of you, Kamal. It's just amazing to witness someone have an idea, bring it to life, and here we are launching Detective Shabazz, and I can't wait to go on tour with the book and produce all your events. Absolutely amazing. I mean, I want to encourage everyone here on this call to purchase the book if you haven't already. Please do share it with your friends. Like Winsome says, we have Kwanzaa, Christmas, all the holidays coming up, New Year's, birthdays, just general gifts in general. Once you read it, please write a review and let's continue to support Brother Kamal. It's so important that we support our own. And just be there for him, be a part of the cheerleading team, because no man is his own island and we need the support of our community to get this done. Once again, I don't want to take up too much time. Congratulations, Kamal. And again, we're so proud of you. Thank you for having me tonight.
Love you, sis. Thank you.
Marissa, you are so eloquent, my dear. Beautiful, like a little doll. I love it. I love it. What a lovely energy that you have. And I
Thank
think with
you.
support like you and the rest of your family, Kamal, you're just going to make it and you're going to ace it and just get into, selling thousands and thousands of books globally, worldwide. Get it all out. Go to America, see the world. Like, do what you need to do, because ultimately, I think it would be great if you could have a living from these book royalties and to go ahead and full time to write book number 2, book number 3, because your heart is really in it. And this is just the beginning of your story, and you care about the reader so, so much, which is just really enchanting and delighted. And I'm glad to be one of the many people on this journey to help you get this far, because there was obstacles, let's face it. This for me personally is my first event after being in hospital for 4 months, and it was really challenging at times, because at the end of the day, through like Kamal's grace and understanding, like we got it done, but it was really tough. We lost people on the way. I had bereavements this year. It's sad, but we still have to push and manifest our dreams, isn't it, Kamal? So I really do thank you for understanding my position. I know it couldn't have been easy, but instead, this is what communication is and pushing through. And I will forever be grateful. And thank you for checking in. That is his heart. Are you okay? How are you feeling? That is the heart of this young king. All right, ladies and gentlemen. We're going to hear from this awesome star again. It is story time with Kamal Lewis, debut author. Let's get him in the bestsellers list. I'll put that link in the chat again. So you're going to give us a bit of an intro. We're going to be at page 12. So if you've got the book, do follow along, please. And give us an intro to why you chose this chapter, and then take it away, young king. Off you go.
So I chose this chapter, one, I'll just say, because I don't want to give away too much. You know what I mean? The story is all about mysteries, and I want, you all to definitely, you're all in for a shock and all in for so many surprises. So, and they will mainly make sense, as you progress. But this part of the book in particular really sets the foundation for the story, and it gives a lot of context as to why Detective Shabazz is the marked man of the shadows. So this part of the book, without saying too much, delves into there being a manhunt for for Detective Shabazz. So his full name is Mr. Shabazz, sorry. And it delves into him having a manhunt as a child. So literally these elites start looking for him quite relatively early, and it deals with an early portrayal within his family. So I'm going to start off reading, and on page 12, and I really want you lot to listen in and follow through with me. So this, actually, you know what? I'm going to start from page 11, in fact, and I'm going to take you through. So if you can't hear, just definitely let me know. I'm going to keep on looking up and down in the chat. I hope you could all hear me very clearly, and we're going to start from here. So at this moment, Detective Shabazz's father and his uncle are battling against each other. So they're looking for poor little Detective Shabazz as a child. He's not here, and you pack of parasites aren't getting a penny from me. Solomon spat his words back at them hatefully. Solomon is Detective Shabazz's father. The large man sighed ruefully, and began snapping his fingers at the other men. All right, suit yourselves. Search the place, lads. Turn this house upside down. Find that boy, he ordered, and the men moved on instruction instantly. Solomon was forced to observe the carnal flipping and wreckage of his furniture. His heart felt pain near to the sharpest stabbing of a blade, seeing the man he once grew up with betray him in such a way. As another tear ran down his cheek, he looked at him, wondering how his actions were even possible. Idris is Solomon's brother, Miss Detective Shabazz's uncle. Idris, I'm your brother. How could you do this to me? He wept. Idris looked back down at him mercilessly. That's your nephew and your sister-in-law. How could you do this to us? We are your family. Don't say that word. Idris uncontrollably bellowed out like a triggered madman. Solomon quietened. After a moment of deep breaths, Idris cooled himself down and took on a colder tone of voice. There was no such thing as family the day you and Dad shut me out. What does it mean to be a Shabazz Solomon? Unconquerable, powerful. Oh yeah, that's what we are. But then there's that other side that has come with it many times, isn't it, Solomon? The rebellion. That's something none of you self-righteous Shabazzes have ever been able to handle. Now, that is now me. Solomon's blood began to boil hot, as there was no doubt Idris had clearly lost his mind. Our father was right. You were never to be trusted. Your heart is filled with the same darkness we've been trying to rid ourselves of for years. You're willing to kill an innocent child of what our father has given to him out of his will. You are poison, Idris, Solomon said. Idris laughed evilly. If you don't give me what I want, yes. That child has barely experienced life anyway. What makes him entitled to anything over me? You thought you and Dad were just going to scrape me to the side like leftovers, put that boy above me and entrust him with the future of our empire that our forefathers built from their bare hands. Idris then shook his head with passion, incensed with eyes of a hot demonic rage. No, not today. I will honor my bloodline and mend my father's mistake. I will take everything that's rightfully owed to me, even if I have to destroy what we built to the ground and build it all up again. It will be mine. The disgust Solomon had for his brother even gave him a foul taste in his mouth. It's over, Solomon. I'm going to get everything from your son, and he's so young, he wouldn't even know what he had. The pain of it all was too overwhelming for Solomon, and he couldn't bear looking at him anymore. His brother's hurt pleasured Idris's bitter soul. Among the sounds of them tearing away at his home barbarically, he soon heard the cry of his wife down the hallway as she was being dragged out from their bedroom. No, he's not here, she shouted, resisting the rough-handed men. Two of them, one with a busted lip and the other with a bleeding nose, aggressively pinned her against the wall as another two raided their room. Get off me. Solomon instantly became restless. Get your hands off my wife. She has nothing to do with this, Solomon cried. It's too late, Idris spoke unmercifully. 10 years too late. Amidst the chaos, the boss took an apple from the fruit bowl on the table beside them before the men tipped it over. You don't mind me having one of my 5 a day, do you, mate? He rhetorically asked, rubbing his belly while enjoying watching a strong man crumble. And I close. In Mister's room, like animals, the thugs had yanked off his bedspread, flipped the whole bed over and pushed over his wardrobe. One of them entered the master bedroom, and as little Mister apprehensively curled himself up as small as he could beneath his parents' clothes, he could see one of the men approaching him through the keyhole, as if he could smell the hot fear oozing from the pores of his skin in the closet. He was a black male roughly of his late 20s with small dreads, fairly wide shoulders, and a toothpick in his mouth. The young boy began to panic and did his best to hold his breath as taught. With the wickedest grin, the man could see the ambient glow from Mister's necklace. Mister slowly tried to tuck it away, hidden, with his shaking hands, but it appeared too late as the man was looking through the keyhole from afar, unknowingly right into Mister's frightened young eyes, like a predator that had cornered its live prey. Mister's heart was so out of control it could have been bouncing sporadically all over his body, and the battle against fear in his heated blood had become too overwhelming for him to maintain his position in silence for much longer. The man got closer and closer. Mister gulped, and his knees started to quiver. Tears of fright dropped from his eyes as he felt life slipping away already. This moment could be his very last. No, no, his mother whimpered beneath her breath in total fright as the man placed his hand on the knob of the closet door. Get out of my room, you crooks, she screamed and became hysterical, trying to break out of the hold with all her strength. The man aggressively threw open the door with soulless eyes and the grin of a demon, almost salivating to do wickedness. He then reached for the clothes covering the vulnerable child to see where the glow came from. Mister's heart stopped. There was no escape. There you are, his sinister eyes seemed to say. Chapter 1.
Right. Flowers. Let's give him the hearts. Let's celebrate this fabulous author. Wow. Looks like there's some trouble going on there. What's going to happen next? Does anybody know? Can you take a guess? Make sure you grab a copy of the book. Wow. Congratulations. How do you feel, Kamal?
I feel relieved because, as you can hear how dark that was as a writer. And sometimes I can't believe this has come out of me. You have to take your mind into certain spaces in order to create these characters. In order to create someone who's wicked, you have to take your mind to a dark place and think like one, because you've created these characters, you know. So you go on your own little journey, you know, in developing these chapters, these little scenarios, you know, this entire story, and then for it to finally come out and, you know, see it being appreciated, you know, and embraced, it's a beautiful thing beyond the words I can articulate. So yeah, I feel I'm on cloud 9 right now.
Yeah, and I can see a glow in those cheeks there. Good for you. Long may that smile continue. And I hope you feel relief, okay? Because this is just the beginning. All right, ladies and gentlemen, my name is Winsome Duncan. I am book confidence coach, and you are at Kamal's debut book launch of Detective Shabazz, and we have been on a journey, but we're not over yet. We still got a little bit more to go. So first of all, before we get into the question and answers, because I know you're going to have some incredible insight for this young man, before we get into that, I'm going to ask Mumsy if she just wants to take a minute or so. She's not shy, camera shy. Do you want to say anything to your boy, your son? You can unmute. Let me see if I can get you to unmute. But if you don't feel pressured. It's all right. It's all right. Let's see. I'm going to try now. Unmute if you can. Is she there? Is your mum shy?
She kind of is, yeah.
Okay. So I don't, no pressure. You said in the chat that, you know, you're very proud, so I don't want you to feel like, oh, you have to, but it's lovely to have you on, and thank you very much for joining. All right, so should we move to question and answers, my friend?
Yeah, sure.
Oh, before we do that, actually, if you like the banner in the back, can you put your ones in the chat, please? Put your ones in the chat, please. So one of the things that we didn't mention was your extracurricular skills. I feel like maybe I should have employed you as a designer at one point. Your talents, putting little bits and bobs together. Do you just want to quickly touch on your banner and your book notes and all the little merchandise that you've got quickly?
Yeah, sure. So I did a course in university called engineering product design. So, you know, it allowed me to be able to design and put some bits and pieces together. So I never really considered myself a master at it, but the way we was taught and kind of trained in there was, you know, to just be, you had to be very analytical with certain things, you know. So sometimes it would take a while, even for this banner, as simple as it looks, even if the main character was just like one slight little centimeter away, you can kind of look at it and see, oh man, something doesn't look right. And it takes time to play around with things. But, you know, I was just able to put bits and pieces together. And sometimes more time with the help of Calvin as well. There were times where I was doing stuff outside of what I was asking him to do, and I was like, "Do you think this looks all right?" You know, just having, and of course Marissa, more, you know, a set of two pairs of eyes are better than one. You know, sometimes it will look good in your eyes, but it might not look good to everybody else. So, you know, I just had to really dig deep with that and utilize the skills which I got as a designer to kind of piece things together.
And that you did. And it was very helpful actually to have those skills on board. And he really does care about the reader experience. So you're in for a treat. Alrighty, so we've come nearly to the end. I know it's a sad face, but don't worry, this is just the beginning. We're going to take some question and answers. We've got a question in the chat already. Ah, there, Marissa. You see, she's on point there, isn't she? You know, so we've got, let's see now. I should put my glasses on, come on. I'm getting to that age, mate. Right, fella says, where do we get the signed copies from? So I believe it's from your website if they haven't got VIP tickets. Is that correct?
Yeah, so if they got VIP tickets, if they purchased it, what you need to do is we'll be able to send you something where we'd message you and reach out to you, and you'd send us a collection point of where you'd like to collect your book. That could either be your home or another place where you could post it to you. I will have to have the book first to sign it and then get it to you. So yeah, so that's how we'll go about doing it. I'd have to post it to you.
So is that both for the website, on your website, and the VIPs? That's the same thing for both, yeah?
Yes, so you could join our mailing list through our website. There's a page in which on Contact Us where you can join our mailing list. You just put your information on there and we'll be able to communicate to you via that forum.
All right, so someone said, what if we brought the book from Amazon? My suggestion would be when Kamal does his book tour and he's at his next festival, hopefully with Calvin, so you can see them both. You can get him, bring your book along and you can get him to sign it. Or when he does the in-person book launch, bring your book along and you can get him to sign it because it does increase the value. Yeah. Right. All right. So the floor is open now for questions. They're coming in thick and fast. If you want to raise your hand and unmute your mic as well, you can do that electronically too. You've got both options. So let me just go back a little bit. Right. So Oya says, I would like to know how Kamal chose the names for the characters.
Okay, I was doing very quickly. So the names of the characters, the name Shabazz, Malcolm X had one of those names. It was a name which I wanted to give my character a revolutionary name, but I wanted it to be a name which was linked to someone who was a bit more noticed or had a bit of fame per se, because we have a lot of leaders, a lot of great men and women in our community, but not all of them are spoken of. And the main two people were Martin Luther King and Malcolm X, but those were the watered down versions that we got in the education system. So I gave him the name Shabazz that was kind of synonymous with Malcolm and, you know, the whole movement, you know, and, you know, even down to the attire, you know, it was very synonymous with, you know, my background, you know, within the teaching that I grew up in, my faith. And it was generally a thing of the name Shabazz means to be unconquerable, but there's also a side of it that has another meaning that coincides with rebellion. And I've answered that question, I believe, on my Instagram page and some of the videos that I've done in the past. So you could definitely check that out. It's a bit more of an in-depth story to the man who was known as Shabazz. And but yeah, it was mainly to just give him a strong name that had a lot of meaning, rather than just, you know.
Eric. Are you up for a challenge?
Yeah, go ahead.
Okay, great. Take your time to plan this, but I would love for you to attend one of your events with dressed up as Detective Shabazz.
Marissa's looking at me because she said that. She was like, Kamal, one day I want you to go dressed as Detective Shabazz and go to Carnival. And I was like, Carnival? But it's an idea. The whole thing about this is to be unique and stand out.
Stood
out.
So is that a yes? You're going to do it?
I will. I definitely will.
Yeah, Marissa, synergy, right? Yeah, Leon, I see you. We're going to come to you in just a sec. First of all, I just want to quickly just grab this question because it's in line with the characters. Yeah, so just bear with me, Leon. I see you. I see you. So your label mate, this is Dr. Marcel that's in the building, and also Makone's online. He's your other label mate as well. So shout outs to Mr. Sankofa. You should definitely get on one of his shows with your book as well, and his podcast as well, and YouTube
Shout out to
page.
him. Yeah.
Shout out to mans like McConan. Okay, so how did you research the characters, and how did you get into the headspace to think of the stories?
I was always interested in Malcolm's story, coming into the Nation of Islam and his effect, what society sees as the Black Muslim movement and his journey, and just him coming from who he was to what he ultimately became in his faith and how influential he became in that movement. So I looked into a lot of, what he said and how he articulated himself. And I really liked a lot of his mannerisms, how quickly he could just fire off a lot of what he knew. And I saw how effective he was on our community. And that really, I really said, okay, this is a character that a lot of people do like to study. They made movies about him. And despite a lot of some of the misunderstandings and, the rumors about him and whatnot, there was a lot to him. So I said, you know what, I want to make a character that, has some weight. And I had to learn a lot about him enough to be able to say, okay, if I'm going to do something like this, I've got to do it right. It can't be watered down. He just got to say it as he is, because that's how Malcolm's teacher taught him. Say it how he is, be straight and direct with the truth, and stand strong on what you believe in. And that's what Detective Shabazz, the character, is. So I had to add that to my character, but I also wanted to show the emotional, vulnerable side of revolutionaries. And with the other characters, one character, like, for example, the man with the white hat called James Attellen, I utilize him because he's a bit more of a goofy character. That allows me to bring out my comedic side in it. So I use him for the comedy. The lady character, Salima Rose, right here, she is a very serious officer of the law. She's a policewoman, but I've created her to be very strong, articulate, and very smart. But she's someone who didn't grow up in a community. And I always found it interesting of a lot of us who grow up outside of our community, how difficult it is integrating back into it. So you're going to see a lot of that dynamic with her. And a character like the villain, Deuce's Goliath, every villain has a story. So movies, I remember the movie, it was called The Joker. It told a story of how he became that. And that really inspired me to say, okay, cool. A lot of time we just watch shows and the villain is just a villain. He's just wicked. But it's not true. Villains sometimes are really made by circumstances. And I've really tried to delve into that, and I will continue to delve into that. So a lot of characters what we create as creative people, they're caught from these cameras, these eyes. It's who we see everywhere we go. There's always good characters and bad characters and funny characters in the neighborhoods that we grow up. And you just kind of put them together into something, and you create characters based upon who you see and, what you witness. So, yeah, I'd say that in a nutshell. That makes sense.
Great stuff. Great stuff. Alrighty. So, Leon, over to you. What is your question, please, on mute?
Can you hear me?
Yeah.
Yes.
Good evening. My name is Leon. I'm from a brand called Dalston Radio Live. I recently had the pleasure of a sit-down conversation with Kamal, talking about his history and his why, his reason for creating the book. And I got to listen to the story, and that interview will be coming out. We spoke about many things. I did ask him, though, if he had taken the time to properly reflect on this achievement. Now, in my eyes, and I believe in all of our eyes, this achievement is an achievement that is going to be in a line of achievements. But what he's done in taking the time to properly see this through to fruition and to see this book finished and manifest and now available for sale, I asked him, had he properly taken time to big himself up, to reflect on what he's done, and has he actually given himself that pat on the back, as difficult as that might be? And I would want to know, have you done that?
We had a question about that. Thank you, Leon. A big shout out to you. I actually haven't. I'm a person who's very full on. You know, sometimes I need to learn to relax, chill, live in the moment. Sometimes a lot of my close friends will know that normally it's whenever I leave the country, I let down and I'm able to just be thoughtless. Do you know what I mean? I'm very hard on myself sometimes to a fault. And it's also a superpower of me being hard on myself, which allows me to persevere, you know. And so I haven't really done that, because sometimes what I get worried about is if I get too comfortable in the celebration, this, that, and the other, I'm going to lose momentum. But it is healthy to give yourself a pat on the back and sometimes chill. So that's something I as a person, I'm actually learning how to do. You know, my mom used to tell me, you like to do too many things at once. You know what I mean? And, you know, it's just like me just always being on the roll. However, it's something which I think after this, I'll be able to sit down and be like, you know what, you know, praise the Most High for what I've been able to do. But I try not to take the credit. I give the credit to the man upstairs, because this is his gift and his talent. And I don't want to become big-headed. I think it's a thing like where he has everything and we all have little bits and pieces of him to put out into the world. You see Winsome doing it. You see Juliet doing it. You see Calvin doing it. Many of us all have gifts and talents to give. I believe I found mine. I said it earlier, and I think that we all have something to put out into the world, and thank him for it. And as long as we stay in good stead with him, he'll allow us more time to put stuff out there, because it's not just about me. It's about what my skill and talent will do to affect others, you know. And starting small, I envision large. So I'm just trying to maintain humility and keep on going, because the show must go on. So that's what I'd say. But thank you, Leon, for telling me that, because I do need to learn that. But that's what Kamal, the human being, is dealing with, learning how to pat myself on the back.
Indeed, the show must go on, but it also must come to an end.
Yeah.
Thank you, Leon. That was a great question. Do put your radio details in the chat. Let's go and listen to that interview, because it just sounds phenomenal. And I'm sure there's going to be more and more interviews to come. You are witnessing something amazing here. Calvin, I see you encouraging your bro to do, you know, come and do, you know, the character dress, and then you got the your comments. So I would say, why don't you dress up one of the characters as well, Calvin? That'd be good. Up for the
Don't worry,
challenge, yeah?
I will. I'll be there with you by your side, man. Don't worry.
Right, and I'll be taking a picture. Yeah, you know, they
100%.
do it like with the Star Treks and all of that, man. Let's make it into a fandom affair. We've got one last question for you before we come and hear your final closing words, Kamal. This has been epic, and I hope you do, when you put your head on the pillow tonight, I hope you do reflect on the power that is in you and the voices that are going to write after you. Myself, Juliet, the people here, we're the catalyst just to help you along your journey. But there's just so much more for you to do. So I hope that you pick up that mandate and that mantle. All right, last question from Tahir. Do you see yourself in any of the characters?
Wow. Oh my God. I see myself in all of them. Well, not really the villain, but I believe that any of us, if we're not grounded in whatever trying difficult circumstance, we can become a villain. You know what I mean? If we don't hold ourselves. But I believe that anytime you create something, there's always a piece of you in it. Otherwise, it's not really yours. So I do see myself in Detective Shabazz, you know, like in the sense of, you know, I realize that, you know, there's a lot that I can do and there's a lot that we all can do, but then we have to balance it out. He goes through a lot of duality within himself, you know. He battles with a lot of sides in himself, and they're all fighting for the space of one. And I feel like I've dealt with that as just a black man growing up in this country, you know, sometimes you're damned if you do and you're damned if you don't, you know? Like, there's probably people looking at me like, why is Kamal writing a book? I could succumb to that pressure because it might not be too cool to do that. It might be cooler for me to rap or, you know, be an actor or something. Like, you know, why are you writing a book? You know, and especially, you know, but it's what the character learns is to embrace his true identity. And regardless to the obstacles, he has to do it because he's damned if he doesn't. I'd rather be damned trying than damned not trying. So I do see myself in Detective Shabazz. The woman character, Officer Rose, she's very committed to her job. I do see myself as that. She's very serious and headstrong. Sometimes she could be a bit stubborn. Sometimes I could get on like that as well. You know what I mean? The comedic character, everybody knows I love to have a laugh, you know, but me, I just know time and the place. I could be very serious, but then I could be very jokey and silly as well, you know. So yeah, so I see myself in all of the characters, but I'd say mainly Detective Shabazz, because on this journey, you know, just learning more of who I am, you know. So I'd say that really, and growing.
Excellent. Do you know what? I don't think I've really seen your humorous side, Kamal.
Yeah, I love to joke. My people around me will tell you how silly I could be. Honestly, they really,
Well,
yeah,
as time progresses, I'm
yeah.
sure that can, now you're relaxed, now that the book is out, I'm sure that I will be able to witness such a thing. Ladies and gentlemen, let's unmute our mics. Let's make the biggest rapture on Facebook. Come on, let's give it up for this young king.
Big up, Kamal.
Here we
Big up,
go, here we
Kamal.
go.
Come on.
Thank you,
Brother.
Kamara. I see you. Thank you,
Yeah,
everyone.
man.
Come on, come on.
Thanks,
Come
brother
on, come on.
Kamal.
See you.
Well done.
Come on, come on, come on.
Well done.
Come on, man.
Myself,
Well done. Well done, Kamal. Excellent. Inspiring.
Thank you. Thank you so much.
Bring that
Thank
love.
you,
Love you,
Mom. Love you too, Auntie. Thank you.
Look at that. That's beautiful. That is beautiful. Oh, is
Awesome.
that Mumsy?
Yeah, that's her. Yeah, she's right out nervous. She went to get in when everyone else is speaking. That's her.
Hey, Mumsy.
Hello.
Your boy did good?
I am just, I mean, I've seen Kamal like persevere. He's had patience, you know, even down, it was lockdown when this all started as well, when he started to write his book and he was so determined. And he was saying, Mum, you're not going to read this until it's completely done, you know. And I was always like, oh, can I just have a peek? No, you can't have a peek. You can't have a peek until it's all done. And I've seen, you know, from the beginning to the end, you know, it's just been awesome. And I know it's a journey for him, and Kamal's the kind of person, he is about inspiring young people as well, the younger generation coming up as well. So it's just, I'm just lost for words, you know, as a mother, and, you know, how our lives have, you know, how we've gone through our journey. It's just been so beautiful to see him on the other side. Yeah, basically, you know, and I know that he's got a lot more to come, you know, and this is just the beginning, you know, and I'm just grateful to God that I had this beautiful, articulate, handsome child. And, you know, just to see the beauty of it, it's just wonderful. It's just awesome. And I just want him to continue. And I know that, you know, he is a humble human being, you know, and I know that he's going to go very far, you know, so I'm just so immensely proud, you know, of him. That's all I want to say. And just to continue, you know,
sorry, go ahead.
Continue no matter how hard it is, because it just builds up your character at the end of the day.
That's right. Thank you, Mom. Give her a round of applause, because if it wasn't for her.
Big up, Dee.
Yes, Mumsy, thank you so much for chiming in. It's really touching, this incredible young man that you have made. He's very focused. position. So I'm just so excited about the next journeys.
Mm-hmm.
Ladies and gentlemen, we're nearly at the end. We are nearly at the end. Thank you for your time. You could have been anywhere in the world today, but you are here at the book launch of Detective Shabazz. It's like I could go in the gym and do some weights with this book, you know, it's so big. Do you know what I'm saying? Like, look at that, look at that, look at that, look at that. Pages and pages and pages for you to sit down and read. I want it to be like, you know, the Sister Soldier. You just go through it and you do the book in like 24 hours. It's done. Well, ladies and gentlemen, thank you for joining us this evening. And I want to thank my laptop for staying on, because we did have some technicals, but, you know, we got there in the end. 2 laptops going, but hey ho, we are here celebrating you. Nothing could stop us. No negative energy. We just powered through and we got there. So thank you everybody for coming. My name is Winsome Duncan. I am from Peaches Publications. I am the honored to publish this book. I have had the privilege over the last 3 years of working with Kamal, and I'm sending him out into the world to do his book. So please, let's all connect. Details are in the chat. Let's all continue to build and encourage him and get him into the top 10. That's his dream. I'll put the link in the chat again. And just get your presents. Christmas is around the corner, Kwanzaa is around the corner, someone's birthday somewhere in December. Come on, put your hand in your pocket and please go out and support. This has been an amazing event. I have really enjoyed spending time with you all. Kamal, I'm going to leave you with the last final words, just to, you know, say your thank yous and just to close out this, you know, segment. And I'm happy to keep the live on, not the live, but once we finish, I'm happy to just keep it on for a little while in case people want to turn their cameras on and they're shy if it's recording and that kind of thing. So you can just have a little soiree. So for one last time, we are going to hear from the talented, the humble, the gifted author, Mr. Kamal Lewis. Take it away.
I'd just like to thank everyone, really. It's been a journey. It's tested my faith, and you all have been there for me in your own way. Even just coming on, you've encouraged me to keep going. And I just want to see everyone shine, really, man, because this feeling, everybody, I don't feel like there's any better feeling than actually working on something for so long and putting it out there and seeing it appreciated, you know? So, yeah, I just want everybody to get theirs, man. I'm not somebody who's just all in it for me, myself, you know. I don't, you know, try to fight for, you know, but at the end of the day, I'm just so grateful that it's finally here. I'm so grateful for all of you, and I'm almost speechless. I don't want to ramble and talk nonsense, but, you know, I just want to thank you all, man. It's been a very good journey, and you're in for some twists and turns, man. Like, definitely get this book. This book is, I will say, this book is for coming of age and up. So, you know, I would not get this book for anybody under the age, you know, of 11 just yet. It's not because it contains anything explicit or anything. It's just, you know, certain things like inheritance and power of attorney, not children won't necessarily be able to comprehend that yet. So it does deal with some mature things. So, and, oh, I'd also like to thank my secondary school teacher, Mr. Peterson, who just wrote something in the chat, because he inspired me in a way to say, always write everything down, because there was ideas which I had in my head from school and I didn't complete it and see it through. And I remember the day he told me that. I never forgot it. And since then, I've always been writing down my notes in my phone for ideas. And if I didn't write notes down in my phone, I probably wouldn't have this. So all of you have helped me in this journey in some sort of way. You know, thank you, Winsome, for seeing and recognizing what I had and, you know, helping to bring it out of me and giving me that confidence to put it out. You know, Marissa, thank you for being a good sister and, you know, a good, strong, you know, woman who, you know, exudes confidence and strength, you know what I mean? And just, you're just a creative powerhouse. You know, Calvin, we did amazing with this, you know, but you, sir, I hope you put your details in the chat. Don't do this to yourself. I hope you put it in the chat.
I have. Don't worry, man. I have.
All right, good. Exactly. You know? And Juliet, You had nothing to gain from helping me. The community needs more people like you. I love you so much because you put me onto your events and you literally stuck by me through this with nothing to gain, but just to help. You have a heart of gold. I thank you so much. And I wish you the best. You do amazing work. I wish you the best. And all of you, I thank you all so much. May the Creator bless you all.
All right. Put those details in the chat again, please, Calvin. Please, Juliet. Put your information. And Marissa, I'm assuming that you might, have a business or an Instagram. Please put your details in the chat and connect with everyone and definitely follow this incredible journey. I want to thank you all for coming. I am touched and humbled. And this is why I do this. This is why it's so important to leave legacies, diverse legacies, people that look like you, people that look like me. It has been epic. Thank you for letting me be one of the catalysts to bring this through. This has been the book launch of Detective Shabazz. Yeah, Mark Man of the Shadows. And go and get your copy now. Let's get him into at least the top 100, right? We can do that. We can do that. Share, and join the mailing list. Kamal does have a website, which is, let's get that up, detectiveshabazz.com. And it's a really slick, nice website. Please follow him on Instagram, detective_Shabazz. I'm so excited, I can't get my words out. He's on the TikTok, Detective Shabazz. So there's no excuse really, is there? I am going to let you all network. I'm going to turn off these recordings and these Facebook Lives. So if you want to come on and show your face and stop hiding, you can do that too. Thank you very much and good night.
Thank you, Winsome Duncan.
Hi, Kamal. I'm not going to